This is Browny's Podcast.
Welcome to Browny's Podcast. A shout out to all of our crew on the WhatsApp thread. We're getting to your questions this very podcast. There will be a live drug test because Brody's arms are getting suspiciously large. An update about how we handle Brian Taylor's moustache. Plenty more, including a kid versus a snake. How we feeling, dog?
I'm feeling great. New environment, which has really stimulated me.
Flash, John?
Absolutely, I'm up and about, no doubt about it. I'm looking straight across the table at Brody PointsBet Pomeroy's massive guns.
Brother.
And that's a point of contention today that we're going to get into later on. Big story brewing, really, that he could be the first podcaster ever suspended in this nation
Also,
for a drug test.
I just want to say that from now on, for summer at least, Jonathan, his name is known as Summer John. Look at his beard. Look at his attitude.
I know, how
Summer
skinny
John
is
is
he?
different to normal John.
And drinking most nights.
Excellent.
Yeah, actually, just drinking away the pain, dog.
In his garden.
In the garden. So I look forward
Well,
to
you
it.
got your own vineyard.
Absolutely. We've got to hurry up and get through this podcast so we can get home and I can get back to the garden. And, I've got 3 kids home from school today.
Yeah.
My wife, she decided to have another day off.
Beautiful Kyles.
Yeah, the Kyles has decided to have a day off, day in bed, and then I get home and 3 kids. One with a tetanus shot, said the arm's too sore to go to school. Seemed to work all right last night when she was cleaning up the apple and rhubarb crumble.
Yeah.
Jack apparently got a little bit of a scratchy throat.
Right.
And then young Macy said, well, because the other 2 are not going to school, I'm not going either.
Mate, Macy's the good one. That's where all the eggs lie in that basket, the Macy basket.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Hey,
So
you
I
guys-
lost control of that.
Shout out to the AFLW. I went to the elimination final at Vic Park. It was a sellout. It was off the hook. It was a 5-point game. There was a real atmosphere. It was like watching footy in summer.
Couple of beers?
Definitely a couple of beers in the sun. It was honestly amazing.
Is it better than suburban
Yeah.
footy? Like, because there is controversy about Richmond's upcoming final that, these small suburban grounds can't fit the crowds in.
Well, Vic Park's, so decent numbers, right?
Yeah.
But
You do lose it if it goes to the G or it goes to Marvel. You kind of lose the atmosphere, and it's kind of like a suburban game feel, and it's so tightly knit, and the atmosphere
Because
is.
the ambience is much better at those grounds.
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed. It's
Yeah,
way
I
better.
agree. I
And
remember
you've
my
got to
last
walk
game.
across the field and physically pick up dog poo before the game starts because
I
people
like
let
that.
their dogs run on it in the morning of the game.
And check for needles,
Well, in Collingwood, definitely.
Yeah, sadly.
There's nothing wrong with playing in paddocks. We once played a QAFL game. I was playing reserves my first year at the
Did
Lions.
ya? She's only
Played
never
on
played
a sheep
reserves.
paddock in Toowoomba.
Fair
Played on
income.
a sheep paddock. They had to clear the sheep. They had to paint the lines. It shows that AFL obviously wasn't making a huge dent on the Queensland landscape at that stage back in 2000.
How many did you kick in the twos?
Kick 5. I
So you
played
weren't
on-
down there for long.
No, it was a freezing cold day in the goal square. Kick 5.
God, I wish they had the cones out. That's when you know you're at a real bad level of
well,
football.
yeah.
When the cones are out and you're playing within cones, it's a problem.
It was cone. It was absolutely cones. And all I remember was Ron Barassi was the guest speaker.
What?
At the luncheon.
Pre-game.
During the game.
Just
and
over
it
the
was
mic.
broadcast on the ground speakers around the ground. So we're playing the game and Ron Barassi's getting interviewed at the
Great
luncheon.
Ronald Dale.
You're effectively listening to a podcast while you're playing footy.
So I'm knocking them through the big sticks. And then after you knock into the big sticks, someone had to go and jump the fence into the back sheep paddock and go and get
Were
the
you
sheriff.
thinking, what the fuck am I doing going father-son to Brisbane?
I should have gone in the draft the year before.
My
When
auntie-
Hawthorn was sort of keen on me and sort of weren't, I thought, I should be playing at Waverley right now.
My auntie works in a maximum security prison in WA, Casuarina, and I went and watched an intra-house footy game, all
Really?
wearing barefoot. It was electric. It was like watching
Was it rough?
Mate, rough as hell.
Is it modified rules though, like so they don't get in blues? Like,
Actually, surprisingly, I think they knew if they got into blues, it was all over.
Yeah, that's
You know,
fair.
like if your parents tell you one fight and no more chocolate.
that's it.
It's a bad analogy. But anyway, hey, guys, drug test time. Brody PointsBet Pomeroy. Explain your arms because they're bigger than any other part of your body.
And his traps as well. Have you felt his traps?
Give us a feel, pal.
It's unbelievable.
Where are the traps?
up the top here, up the top here.
Usually, if you dig your thumb in, people sort of their shoulders come up and they can feel it because it's quite painful, mate. He's got traps of iron.
Yeah, he does, and it's been concerning because I've obviously spent a lot of time with him over the last few years. And
You've seen the transformation.
I've watched the transformation over the last, especially I would say 6 to 9 months. Dino, you've been with me daily as well, and we've seen it. And now he's like a piece of granite to the point where I'm starting to think this is not natural anymore.
And
now, I
Rhodes-
know he likes to work the upper body,
Yeah.
but there just seems to be an inhuman feel. Is that the right? An unhuman feel about it. And so, when I go through, I did some study today. You've got stanozol, Dianabol, or D-bol in the bodybuilding world, as you would know that as Brody.
Yeah.
Zithromax.
Andro, testosterone, and my favourite, nandrolone. So
Well, that's your favourite, isn't
I'm
it?
just wondering whether we do a drug. Well, actually, I'm not wondering whether we do a drug. We will do a drug test, and we need to test whether he has any of these substances in his system.
Also, if you do recreational drugs, which if that was on the PointsBet app, if Brody does recreational drugs, what would he be paying, Doug?
He'd do Special K, ketamine.
No.
So
Horse tranquilizer.
if you're susceptible to horse trank, what's stopping you for getting on the roids?
Would he be shorter than Winks in the fourth
Yeah.
Cox plate?
Yeah, he
That
would
he'll
be.
test
Brody-
positive for some sort of recreation drug.
Do your genitals shrink when you do get on the juice, Broads?
There's that they already have, but that was long before the testosterone.
If you fail this test, you're suspended for 4 years under
4
Asada.
years for
Asada rules.
Barter.
brown dogs. WADA.
We have a drug test here. What is this for recreational and steroids?
Yes,
What
it
is
does, it does both. And so I went to the bathroom before and I urinated all over it. It said, just give a little splash on each little section. I was like, I need to make sure that I'm being thorough. So I just covered the whole lot.
A playful splash.
A playful splash. So I
Did
just
any of you guys witness it?
No!
No, that's a concern because he may have had a tube of. I wouldn't want to be your year-old, Dino. Maybe mine. He did ask me for some urine the other day, and he strapped it to his leg.
Fake
but no,
penis?
But we're going to take that as we're going to say that it's clean. It's his own urine
Okay.
sample. Just to give us some context, can you explain it away? Your size and your increasing mass at the moment.
Well, I'm getting married next year, and I think it was subtly told to me that, listen, if you were to improve your body shape in lead up to the wedding, things would be great.
But people don't want to see a jacked groom. They just want to look, be like lean and nice. No one wants to see Dwayne
Especially
the
when he
Rock.
used to be real scrawny. You
Mate.
know, like,
I was never scrawny.
wow.
You've actually called me Michael Voss before, which I've never let go. You said I'm built like Michael Voss. Can you believe
the
that?
upper body. Mate, you're starting to look like Doomy, though, with your pigeon legs and your big upper body.
Okay, so wedding, that's why you got jacked. Is
Yes,
that
pretty
right?
much. And again, I was all about weightlifting. I haven't done a lot of cardio, so there's a few bits that are a bit soft.
Yeah.
But there's a few bits that are also hard.
All right, brother.
Oh, yeah.
How do we know? How do we read this thing?
Well, I'm just going to give it to Jonathan as the test was bought. And again, I've splashed all over it, so it's a bit wet, but that's okay. You put up with it, mate.
Handle his liquid.
Just have a look, mate. Let's start from the bottom up. Let's go through some of the results.
Okay, so from the bottom, he's all clear for cocaine. All clear for ketamine.
Ketamine.
Negative for MDMA.
This is bullshit.
Negative for acid.
Don't believe it.
Yeah. Now the big one, my favourite, and I thought Brody's favourite,
Camagra.
nandrolone. Negative.
Wow.
Negative, baby.
He's not on
Negative.
steroids.
He's come back negative for everything.
I'm natty.
How can that be a clean sweep across the board? There's
No,
gotta-
no, it's not a clean sweep.
Oh.
The
Hang
top
on.
one, the top one for cannabis has tested positive.
No, it hasn't. You know my mum and dad listen to this podcast, so no, you have fictionalised that. That's absolutely not the case.
Brother, that says positive.
That's
You're-
absolutely not the
You're on the
case.
devil's lettuce.
That's
Oh my
absolutely
God.
not.
Mate,
My-
a couple of jazz
Mum,
cigarettes on the weekend.
Mum, I'm saying, Mum, I didn't do
Mate.
it. A friend of mine, I happened to be standing
sure.
next to a
Sure.
friend of mine who may have lit up.
Weed
Bit of
is a
passive,
gateway drug. You're going to be doing H next, you psycho.
I've actually got a spare test here, Deno. Do you want to take it?
No. All good, all good.
Dog, what do you think about this?
Well, I'm surprised by the results. I am. I thought you'd definitely
Because
test
you are
positive.
reasonably clean living. People
Yeah,
don't
I-
realise that about you. You enjoy a cider from time to time.
But you don't get messy drunk.
No.
No,
You're a calculated
No, I
drunk.
don't smoke.
He's not a smoker.
and
He's
I,
not a drug
I definitely
taker.
don't do any drugs.
Vape?
I every now and then, if someone's handing a vape around,
likes
if
a pineapple
it's
one.
pineapple or mango, I'll have a toke. But
a
I'm
little-
asthmatic, right?
For a little head spin.
Oh, I just like the taste of it.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But do you know Flo Jo, who used to be the great
Yes,
American
still
runner?
Yes,
holds the
mate.
world record, I
And
believe,
she had
100
all
metres.
the really long nails.
Yes.
Right? Really long nails. Now, it is my belief that she had those long nails, so when she was getting tested under ASADA and WADA and everything, she would always put a condom full of someone else's urine in her vagina, and she'd use the long nails to prick it so it looked like her urine.
It would come out.
And it would come out onto... So she'd always test negative, and she was a drug cheat.
That's genius. And also, did you just come up with that
Yeah,
theory?
was this-
No, but I've seen Brody growing his nails.
Yeah. So are we going to have to...
I'm not sure why. Because
Where is he keeping the dick?
I know. You've lost the plot, mate.
So what you're suggesting, Brown Dog, for us to continue on with Brownie's podcast each episode, we have to clip his nose.
I think so.
We have to do an official clip before the microphones are
it's
open.
unprecedented
I just
scenes.
don't believe this drug test, but congratulations.
Well, done, Parsi. You can get
What is
another
your mum
year
going to
out.
say about it? Because his mum's an avid listener. What's your mum going to say
Yeah.
about this, Brody?
What, that I've...
You tested positive.
You're a drug
I
addict.
haven't tested positive. That is absolute shit.
You're a bong
Mate, it's
boy.
cannabis.
It was my friend, and I was standing next to him.
You're a big bad bong boy.
Well done. You can produce this for another 12 months.
Thank you.
But we can't run the risk from a publicity point of view. Could be a storm. You can't come onto our podcast front page.
It's a bad image for our logo.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
We're going to put him in the
Is
little
it?
asterisk.
Is it a bad look for our
well,
podcast image, Dino? Is
Correct.
it?
Yeah, it is, absolutely.
Those that engage in narcotic...
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
we couldn't have you on the
behaviour.
logo.
We couldn't.
Yeah, no,
It'd
no.
bring
I like
the
this.
podcast into disrepute.
Yeah, I like this. Yeah,
So-
I like this. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I think he probably he's earned his spot on the logo. But that's a fair point. He can stay on our
When he
podcast in
cleans up.
voice,
Invoice.
but
this is
not in
ideal.
image.
Moving on to one of the great bullshit lists of all time. In this great field that we're in, sports media, the dumb lists that come out. Yes.
I know,
John.
I'm excited about this. When I opened the paper today, the Herald Sun, it was in all the News Corp papers. It was big by Scotty Gallen. He's named his top 15 play-by-play callers. Now, what's a play-by-play caller, Brown Dog?
The caller that calls the actual game as it's unfolding, and then you and I come in at a stoppage, a goal, a ball up with our special comments. Yes. But they are, Dino takes the mark, handballs to Brody, who the kick up as usual.
Yes.
And sends it along the ground to Jonathan.
And the other ones are like your boundary riders, your special comments.
You
So
can
that's
throw
the
it out to
difference.
them, which
Gotcha.
is what I do every now and then.
And well,
Injury reports, the medical sub, the weather, whether the wind is happening.
You haven't just patted yourself on the back there, have
really
you?
important part of
Did you
football.
like how he bundled himself
Oh,
with me?
didn't he?
Into the same
I know.
row?
there is
Okay, hang on,
A
mate.
distinguished
Mate,
Fox footy
you're-
representative, the king of Fox footy,
Mate,
versus
the face
the
off.
VFL fill-in who occasionally gets a AFL gig.
We're not a bundle. It's not like your internet and home phone package. Hell, mate.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. Anyway, I've got the list. So this is from Scotty Gallen.
Right.
And our dog, because you used to be a play-by-play caller.
Back in the day,
Back in the
yeah.
day, early days. So you are well qualified. You know how difficult this job
I do.
is. You would empathise with them.
Yes.
And you would understand it, but I'm sure you've got your own views and opinions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to quickly whip through this. At 15, Brenton Speed, I work with
Yeah,
him, very
very
good.
good.
Lee Montagna, he's an up-and-comer.
Rising
I like-
star.
I like Joey. Corbin, middle mass.
Never heard of Corbin.
Yeah, who's that?
I'm not an ABC guy.
Hamish McLaughlin at 11.
Terrific. I think he's too.
I know,
too
so
high
he's
up
a
the list.
12.
He
Yep.
should be further down.
should be
I
lower.
think he's a very good caller.
Good caller. Howie.
Howie,
Who's
yep.
next? Nathan Brown, Nath.
Nah.
Alistair Nicholson at 9.
Yes, yeah, good
No,
luck.
sorry, Das is at 9. Now, this is... No, Das is at 8. Bros, what have you done? You printed it out the wrong way for me. Das is at 8. Now,
Yes.
this is where it starts to get interesting. Scotty Gallen has gone with probably arguably the most famous caller in the nation.
Yep.
Calls on a Friday night.
Yes.
Our man, we're going to be seeing him next week. You'll be combing his moustache.
wow.
Brian Taylor at number 7.
Ooh, he won't like that, BT.
Well, it says here, Scotty says, divides fans but is always entertaining. The odd wrong player's name fuels his critics, but BT's prime time.
He, of course, he's prime time. He came up with Boy Oh Boy, Wowie.
Absolutely. Wouldn't you rather
Lloyd.
you'd rather a weirdo than someone straight and boring, right?
Well, we got to entertain the crowd.
Flavour is better than no flavour.
Correct.
What do we think about the accusation of maybe getting the odd player's name wrong?
Who cares?
Yeah, I don't think it matters. Like you need to be more accurate than not. But if you get the odd
JB,
name
you
wrong,
get
it
your
doesn't
kids'
matter.
names wrong. No one gives a shit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
That's
I
fair.
can't remember.
I
my
remember
wife's
him
name is.
famously calling a St Kilda game, and there was all these Jacks. There was Jack Sinclair and
Yes,
Jack Loney.
Jack Loney, and
Jack
he
Steele.
said it was a jack off, which was a good call. I thought.
Right, there's still kids up, Brian, and that Tim Lane been around a long time,
Yeah,
number
he has.
6.
Very professional.
3AW,
Where's
very
Gribus? The
professional.
late Gribus.
I'll tell you an interesting one. Adam Papalia.
Well,
He's
yeah.
a very good talent.
Who's
At
that?
5. The
WA,
West Australian
local
club.
WA.
Yes.
Fox Footy. He's fantastic. I love working with ads. Jared Waitley in at 4. Now, I'm not sure he'd be happy with that, Jared.
No.
At 4, the voice of football in this country. 3, Pipe Russell.
Pipe.
I
No,
love
big
Pipe.
fan
I
of
love
Pipe.
his energy.
Nah, he's stolen a position on that.
You
top 15,
went
mate.
after Pipe on this podcast and it didn't end well, man. You got to leave Pipe alone.
It says here, not everyone's cup of tea. But you can't say the Pipe doesn't do his best in boring games to keep you interested.
Correct.
Especially watching Port Adelaide games.
No, I like the Pipe.
Yeah, same.
I think 3's really good for the Pipe.
Yeah, JB in at number 2, James Brayshaw.
Okay. Pro.
Loves the energy, has good timing with his energy. And number 1, Anthony Hudson.
Oh, Hutto.
Hutto.
He's
That's
got
big.
the number 1 mantle. I'd have Jason Bennett up there. I think he's a good
I
caller.
was going to say that. Yeah, you would have Jason in the top 15.
We're not doing the top
definitely
15 VFL callers, mate.
No, he does a lot of AFL games.
It does a lot of VFL too.
Well, yeah, but that shouldn't detract.
Do you think where Jason goes wrong is he likes to sort of veer off into the special comments section? And sometimes the stats and sometimes the boundary rights. Yeah, like he likes to cover all. Yeah, it's like one of those bundle packages.
You're not accusing the man of stepping on other people's toes, are you? No, you wouldn't be doing
no,
that.
I wouldn't do that, but I have heard a couple
He's
of
a
stories.
good caller. He's a very, very good caller. I'd have him ahead of that bloke from the ABC.
All right, this stupid list with no stakes. Are we done with it?
Well, it was interesting because they went to the fans. They
Right.
went to the fans after to see if they agreed.
So that was just Scott Gullen's list.
That's right.
Some dude.
Bristle and JB were lower. So it was JB was 15, Piper was 14, 13 was Das, and BT at 12. The number 1 caller, according to the fans, Jared Waitley.
Really? Well, there you go. So he's the people's champion.
Who
Jared?
was number 2, can I ask?
Out of the people's.
It doesn't matter if you don't have it. But I think the People's one carries more weight. Weight of numbers. Otherwise, it's just some guy naming
Can
commentators.
you just give me a little audition? Just give me a little audition. I still think that you're an underutilized talent at 7.
Tim Lane, the people's one.
Just give me 20 seconds. Give me 20 seconds. It's grand final. There's a point the difference. There's 30 seconds to go. You've got the call.
You want to give me fucking teams that are playing?
No,
or-
we're it's just us four.
You just want me to just make it up?
Dog, we're in the same team and it's us four.
Grand final, first bounce.
Grand
Go.
final.
Geelong, Sydney.
Go.
Geelong, Sydney.
Oh, Jesus.
1 second to go.
No, 30 seconds to go. 1 point the difference. There's a reason that you're not on this
Okay.
list. Go.
Well, the Sydney Swans have been absolutely decimated from the opening bounce today. The margin is 87 points and a little chip from Selwood out to Dangerfield. This game was done a long time ago. Can we wrap it up? Blow the siren. Fuck's sake, get everyone out of their misery so we can go to the September Club and drink piss. Siren sounds. Geelong, bit of redemption there. Oldest list in history. Fuck off and drink.
Okay. Brody, a reminder that not everything's content.
How was that, mate?
Yeah, Geelong.
You gave me the worst grand final in the last 5 or 6
I'm glad
years.
I'm glad we stopped down.
Straighten up. I asked our WhatsApp crew for questions. Here we go. Mick, a favourite of ours. Mick. I'm allergic to eggs, but not chicken. Jonathan, can you explain that?
It's the protein. It's the protein in the eggs. The people, there's a certain particular protein that can affect you when it comes to eggs, but it's not in the actual chicken itself.
Okay, great answer, man. He says, why do I get an erection watching The Lion King?
Oh, maybe Simba.
He didn't ask that.
No, because he's eating too much chicken with those hormones in him.
Let's
Same
go.
hormones Brody's on.
Let's go to Dazza. If Brownie and Dog were shit at footy, what would they have done instead, you first Dog? In your heart.
I would have definitely gone down the path of being a commentator.
You're not being serious. What would you have done?
I love commentary.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Or player manager. That's what I originally. I was one of the first AFL players to sit the exam.
Man.
There is a little bit of Ricky Nixon about you. There's
More
just
Ari Gold.
shades of Nixon.
Ari
Ari
Gold.
Gold, you're a hustler. I
Yeah.
can see that. John?
I was a greyhound trainer, so I would have continued on down that path. I was very successful at a young age, including
All right, then.
leading out a Winnable Cup winner and a Horsham Cup winner, including another currency that paid $10 in the 1997 Winnable Cup.
But I don't know if there's a lot of money in greyhound training.
There is a lot of money.
Do you reckon?
Oh, absolutely. There's huge prize
Well,
money.
what would the number one greyhound trainer in the country make a year?
$1 million?
What? Really?
Oh, you
No
pulled
way,
that figure out of your
You
ass.
pulled that
No
too.
way,
Shut
mate.
up.
Directly from your rectum, that number came from.
I'm
You'd
telling
need to
you.
win every race that's ever been run.
Mate, there's $1 million races.
Ever been run.
What? I've never seen a dog trainer looking, even remotely looking like they could be worth $1 million a year.
Mate, the night I led the Winnable Cup winner out, if I haven't mentioned his name, another currency, I had to wear a tuxedo. I did. After we won the semi-final, obviously we're superstitious, so my uncle said, you're going to have to lead him out for the final next week. So I had to be measured up for a tuxedo.
Yeah,
It was
but
a 15,
hey,
a loose-fitting tuxedo.
You can
I
wear
must
a
admit.
tuxedo, it doesn't make you James Bond.
Well said.
Well
I did.
said.
The braces and the pimples may have offset the James Bond look.
Brody, same for you and I regarding radio. If you weren't in radio, what would you be doing?
In jail.
I feel finance. I feel like I'd be great managing
Just 'cause you wear
a hedge
glasses,
fund.
mate.
Yeah.
I feel like a hedge fund man.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Used car salesman.
Right on. All right, here we go.
You, Dino?
Oh, I'd be a truck driver. I love sitting on my ass and eating roadhouse
Really?
food. Oh, yes. And I just like it.
Big B double there.
Seeing the country.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Would you
You're
interact
WA
with
boy.
the people? You know how you have your radio on and you can talk to just random people?
You talking two-way horseplay?
Yeah.
Lots of it. Lots of
Really?
hijinks. Yeah, absolutely. In the words of, this is...
And they use a lot of ice as well to get from one place to the other.
Okay. That's probably enough. We'll probably wrap that up, eh?
Yeah, I'd be in it for the ice.
Oh, yes.
In the words of Ashley, this is from Dazza, dog. This is from Dazza. In the words of Ashley and Martin, the Ashley Martin ads, when did you reach your turning point?
Well, this year. Just this year when I thought I was talking to Dal and Dal said to me, mate, it's not too late. You know, you can resurrect this. He goes, look at me. I've got hair and my brother, who didn't go down the path, is completely bald.
Yeah.
And I thought, mate, might as well try. Like, no one will know whether I put a little bit of substance in my hair.
And who cares?
It's not like it's a toupee.
Has it come along? Put your head down. Let's have a look. No, still as
You're
bald
gonna
as the
have a
day
bit-
started.
Really?
Yes, mate. It's no good.
Apparently it takes 6 months.
You'll have a bit of Donald Trump about you in 6 months.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope so.
Any more questions?
He's
Al?
going well, though, isn't he, Dog?
He's flying.
Well, dog's flying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Donald Trump.
Any more questions? Our WhatsApp crew, just either DM me or put them in the thread
we
and
gave
tag
them
me.
a week to write questions and they've asked 3.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
They're engaging.
Well, it would help if any of you said
I always
anything
write
in
back.
the
I always
thread.
write back to the group.
Actually, you
Hey,
did.
how did the tips go to the WhatsApp group? Would you say it was a successful spring?
Quickly.
You giving out tips?
I think so. Yeah, a couple jumped in the gold trip. Animo in the Cox Plate. We spruiked from a long time. I thought in the boat would run a really big Group 1 race.
I've got an update on Insta.
ya?
Back in a second. Welcome back to Brownie's podcast. As promised before the ads, Brownie's got a In the Boat update.
What a tease. I bet they waited around for that.
Pretty tidy up.
Now, I don't
well,
want to have to kill myself, so make this
Was the
exciting.
red hot favourite in the Goodwood Handicap?
Was, mate.
Remember?
You ever heard of the Goodwill Handicap?
Yeah, man.
Goodwood Handicap. And I thought you were a good Adelaide boy. Of course, in the middle of the year, was scratched, hurt itself down the beach.
I'll never forget.
And then he's come back. He's had a couple of probably failures this spring.
Yes.
Mate, we thought it was the wet tracks, but no, it wasn't the wet tracks.
You have bad horses.
Because
Fact.
in the boat, remember, he's a Group 1 calibre horse. Thought he was running in the Manikato. Had to scratch him. When it was found out that he had a history of deteriorating performances and is making an abnormal respiratory noise.
He's a roarer.
Both vocal cords are also collapsing into the airway. These findings are consistent with a diagnosis of recurrent laryngeal neuropathy, or RLN. But in layman's terms, the horse is considered a partial roarer. So what he had to do, they had to have an operation the other day, standing up.
Yeah.
Standing up.
Yep.
Imagine having an operation standing up, and he had to have his vocal cords removed.
This is awful. Why?
So-
What?
Very hard to win a race if you can't breathe.
Can't breathe.
yeah,
So there you
that's
go.
what
Whoa,
He's
shit,
he's had
man.
his vocal cords removed.
Oh, that's foul.
Imagine standing Imagine standing up, having your vocal cords removed.
Yeah,
So I look forward to it now. He's going to be back bigger and better than ever in early autumn. Hopefully standing on the Group 1 dais. Unfortunately for In the Boat, he won't be able to neigh after he wins one.
For his own health.
For his owner.
He won't be singing horses.
Won't be singing horses, exactly right. So there you go. That's the update for In the
Thank you.
Boat. But don't worry, he'll be back.
Let's now go to Jonathan Brown's house. And JB always asks me for movies for him and his kids to watch together. And they're getting to the age where they want to watch slightly dicey stuff. No more Alvin and the Chipmunks bullshit.
No more PG-13. They want to get into that M territory.
Some spice.
Yeah, that's nice.
So how's that going, first of all, this concept of adult films for your children?
Well, I mentioned it the other day to Dino that he said, watch Gone in 60 Seconds. Have you seen Gone in 60
the
Seconds?
Nick Cage, great.
Yes.
Nicolas Cage, Memphis Reigns. Is that one of the great movie character
that's
names?
great.
That was Cage's title.
They steal a
And-
bunch of cars or something, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Steal a bunch of cars. He's got to get his brother out of trouble. Robert Duvall's in it. He's the mechanic. He's very good in as a mechanic in movie roles.
always.
Remember him as Harry Hogg in Days of Thunder?
Can't forget.
But a young Angelina Jolie. She was magnificent. Now, things were going along swimmingly because young Jack's a big car fan.
Yeah.
He loves the cars. It's all about stealing cars.
Was he
And
glued, man? Was he glued to it?
He was glued to it. And he knows all the cars as well. I introduced him to Eleanor, the Mustang,
mama.
which is the hero of the movie. But about midway through, when Angelina Jolie, her character Sarah, and Memphis are about to break into a house, a big sex scene, a love scene, unfolds. And then I let it go a little bit. And there's a very attractive young lady. They're there, and she's starting to get undressed.
Oh, no.
And then
Jack's got Aurora.
I'm looking around.
Jack's got Aurora.
Now, Jack, don't worry, he's like in the boat. He wasn't a partial Aurora. He was a full Aurora. Mate, his eyes are popping out of his head. And I'm thinking, shit. So I start looking around for the remote, and I've had to fast forward. Through that scene. As a 9-year-old boy, I just didn't think he was ready for that.
We should say it was very. It's just boobies. It's a very soft, intimate scene.
Full booby?
There's full boobies, but it's not like
Full
a
booby?
My point is, I didn't recommend a movie. It wasn't like a full porn scene. It was very light, so I forgot about it. I didn't expect.
Yeah, you're not to know. But this is where I reckon JB's a good opportunity for you as a father. Grab your son at an impressionable young age like he is and say, Jack, Angelina Jolie, beautiful woman. But she realised at that stage in her life she had a vial of blood of Billy Bob Thornton's around her neck, and she used to mouth kiss her brother. So not all beautiful women aren't. She's a psychopath. She's a complete head case. So take that in.
That's a good lesson to be.
No.
I thought Dog was going to get poignant and have
so
a
did I.
father-son moment. All of a sudden, blood comes into it and incest.
Mouth kissing your
What it's
sibling.
true. Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton, right, which was when she was young and had vials of each other's blood around their necks on red carpets and stuff, mate. She's crook.
Well, I remember to call you, Dog, if the next time I catch Jack kissing his sisters, to maybe use that message. But it mightn't be as relevant this time round.
Back on track. So,
That was fair.
yeah, that was fair. So movies that are
Well,
on
so
the
it got me thinking. So, movies that you want to watch with your kids, but they're right on the fence, so they can engage you. So, Gone in 60 Seconds
sorry
is number
about
one. Dino, we need 4 other ones for the top 5 just to get us through.
The film Speed with Keanu Reeves.
Remember Speed?
It's got action,
Of course I do.
excitement. There's no explicit sex stuff in it.
Great patch for Sandra Bullock.
Okay.
Passionate kiss at the end. It's exciting, Dog.
Basic instinct.
Yes.
Right.
That's probably that's getting there. That's getting
if we're
close.
not taking this seriously, then why are we doing it?
The uncut version, that was on the other night.
Was it?
It's the most unbelievable scene. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
It's when she opens the legs up in the interrogation
Yeah,
room.
what other scene is
How
that?
have we got here? Honestly.
Schindler's Fist.
Jesus. 10-inch Mutant Ninja Turtles.
No,
seriously.
Ace Ventura.
Okay.
Pet Detective.
Freddie
Come on.
Freddie got fingered. Freddie got fingered's a classic.
Speed's good, right?
Not
so
on
we can tick
porn.
that one?
I've done Speed. We
Okay.
can do Speed.
Speed.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got 4, number 5, 4, number 3. What do you got?
I'm going to go because Jack's into his baseball. We watch Sandlot Kids. Now, I thought we can just take, Sandlot Kids. That's a good one
course,
for Boston.
baseball, yeah.
And Jack's a big baseball fan. I thought I'll take it up a notch. Major League.
Yeah, man.
So Major League's awesome. Rick Vaughan,
Yeah.
played by Charlie Sheen. He comes out to Wild Thing as the relief pitcher.
Is there any dodgy stuff that you have to have a weird
Well,
chat?
mate, they go on this unbelievable run to win the pennant, and the manager comes up with an ingenious. I think Clarko may have done this back in the day. He gets the owner, who used to be a stripper,
Yeah.
a lady, and he covers her up with all the clothing. But then the clothing is segmented into pieces. So after each win, a piece of clothing gets pulled off.
Genius.
And then when they finally win the pennant, she's fully nude.
Wow.
Fully nude. And I'd forgotten about that and watched that with Jack. So again, his eyes popping out of his head, the young fella.
Casey Ryback in Under Siege.
Oh, huge.
Now we're talking. Both under sieges for Jackie.
Yeah, but out of the cake. When she comes out of the cake, they've just roofied her and she comes out of the cake with her top off.
They've roofied her. What are you talking about?
She drank too much and she got helicopter sick.
Yeah, that's right.
No one wants to see someone roofied, you freak.
Mighty Bucks.
No, probably not that one.
Jesus.
That's for a little bit later.
Okay, so what's the next one?
So we're happy. We are very happy with Major League.
Okay.
First time I cried, I was a bit traumatised by this. Rocky IV when Apollo died.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful.
So maybe getting used to their emotions. What
Here's
else you got?
Demolition Man. Snipes, Stallone. Bullock, again.
Oh, yeah.
This is why it's a good film. It's set in the future. The action is cheesy. Snipes gets his head frozen and kicked off. It doesn't look too bad. And here's why there's no sex scenes in it. You're not going to have a weird chat with Jack, because in the future they don't have sex by swapping fluids. They have it with using headsets, VR style. And
I like that.
Sylvester Stallone's really upset about that in the film. He goes, I thought we were going to do the hunka chunka, boning, the wild mamba. So instead of sex scenes, they just say those stupid words. You don't have to have a weird chat with Jackie, man. Demolition Man.
I like that. Well, I like when it goes above the head, Brown Dog, because the last one for me, I sat down and watched Ted the other night. Have you watched Ted before?
I've watched Ted, the big animal, the big teddy bear.
With Mark Wahlberg. And
I recommend this one.
Well, you sort of want ones that go above. There's a lot of swearing in it.
Yeah,
he obviously has lived with me for 9 years, so he knows how to drop the F-bomb. But there's a scene where he goes with Ted, as also the teddy bear. He's kicked out of home and he has to go shopping for the first time on his own, and he sees this hot checkout chick and starts making sexual gestures to the checkout chick.
Okay.
And then uses the bottle of hand sanitizer to take to the next level, which is obviously...
Okay, I see what you're saying.
He was using that as a physical gag to intimate something,
to replicate
some sort of sexual behaviour.
Okay.
Now, fortunately enough for me, that was so highbrow that it went above Jackie Brown's head.
Thank God.
He did turn to me and asked me the question and said, Dad, what does that mean? I said, mate, don't worry, ask Mum.
Well, this took a turn, didn't it?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Hey, busking.
sorry about that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Before we finish up for the year, so we've got a couple of episodes left, you've got to do something for us. And I said that you've got to go and make it up for us for not playing the trumpet at our party, that you've got to go into the city.
I prefer to sing than play the trumpet. At least then we could set up a little beatbox and, she calls me from the cold.
It'd be more entertaining for him to sing.
Just when I was low, I can do some shimmer, I can do some Daryl Braithwaite.
Are you happy to exchange the trumpet for singing?
I'd feel more comfortable because no one's going to get any enjoyment out of me botching, half a dozen notes like Dino did it at the party.
All right. Well, if you're happy to do it,
I can sing. I got a voice of an angel. You've
Okay,
heard
well,
it.
If we're doing it in the city, we could get done permit-wise. So where are we doing this?
we are doing it in the middle of the city. I've got a permit.
Do you know what?
You applied.
I know
got-
Sally Cap.
Right, so do I.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
We actually do, John.
All right. We're going to do it later this
so
week.
the
Straight
mayor,
on
the
the
mayor.
Sally Cap.
Yeah, the mayor.
All right.
We're going to do it later this week, and you go on the city and sing for us and see how much you
Okay,
raise.
can we do it out the front of Parliament House?
Yeah,
That
man.
way, if I decide to go rogue with a microphone, start abusing, politicians and stuff, there'll be no stopping me.
It'd be like Trump on the steps of the Capitol.
You know, insurrection.
Shut up.
Back in a second. Welcome back to Brownie's podcast. Dog, you've been mentioning us.
Yeah, well, I try to always
you.
try and build the brand
Yeah.
of Brownie's podcast, and we are global. And we featured this week on Hutchie and Pickers Off the Bench. They give a self-congratulatory award, and I received 4 points for trying to pump up the podcast.
Self, 3 votes. Campbell Brown gets a sneaky 4 for this.
Yesterday, we enjoyed
I did the podcast.
How's it going, Brandon's podcast? Flying?
Mate, it's one of Australia's best.
In numbers or just in your opinion?
Number one, they said it on the radio show.
And Jackie Epstein wrote it in the Herald Sun, one of Australia's leading podcasts.
So, dog,
I offended that line, but
So there you go. So a lot of misinformation out there.
Yeah.
But if it's in the paper, it's true, right?
Yeah, we should start rocking up to live sports crosses and just going Brownie's podcast in the background.
I think we need to do more to build the brand. Like,
Guerrilla advertising.
What about we do a tour, Australian tour next year?
yeah.
Early next year, pre-season.
Regionals.
We might have to go to each We may have to go to each town.
So you know how major sporting events
As
that get
in
a global
interstate towns.
Yeah, but you know major sporting events that get global recognition, right? Sometimes someone runs out on the field with something written on their back, or if India play Pakistan at the MCG in the World Cup final, right, in a couple of weeks' time, there will be 100,000 there. There could be 100 million people watching it globally, right? I suggest we find someone to maybe do something with Brownie's podcast written all over them and get the global recognition that we deserve and get our followers on Instagram up from 1,064 into the tens of thousands.
I want a bunch of Indian listeners. That'd be sick. Think of our population.
Correct. And I'm Australian kabaddi captain, so that we've already got that
connection.
We've got that connection.
Got a lot of friends over there. Still stay in touch with them.
Yeah, a few.
Time for
What a world!
What do we got?
And now, there was an article that I found during the week which immediately drew my attention. Cobra dies after being bitten by 8-year-old boy in India.
Love this.
This cobra, right, black cobra, had wrapped herself around this young boy's arm when he was out playing in the backyard. It bit him, right? And because the young boy, he couldn't get the cobra off him, he just bit its head off.
Yes.
Now, he's known as Deepak. The attack took place in the remote Pandrahar village in India's central Chittagong region on Monday. Now,
I love when Dog goes into this. He's very invested in
he
the
is.
area.
He loves
He loves
the area.
just
he does.
to
Gets
give
right into it.
authenticity, right? to
Yeah,
it.
it is.
His adrenaline's kicked in.
So Deepak has panicked.
Yeah.
He couldn't get the black cobra off his arm. So it bit him, and he immediately thought, nah, fuck this.
dead.
You bite, I bite. And he latched on with his little 8-year-old teeth.
Yes.
And he bit this cobra so hard that it's died.
Yes.
His family rushed him to hospital because obviously cobra venom, extremely poisonous.
Deadly.
Not sure in the outskirts of the region they've got anti-venom and all that sort of stuff. So every second counts, right? And lucky for him, it was called a dry bite, where the fangs go in, but it doesn't let the poison out.
So a snake can choose to give you the bad stuff or not when it bites you.
An adult snake.
Correct. So they believe that this adult snake used the bite more as a scare tactic than to kill the prey. Probably knew it was a young boy.
Probably knew.
But
That's a wrong decision by the snake.
wrong decision because he got bitten back and dead now. So
yeah,
cop
yeah.
that.
That's
well
amazing.
done, Deepak. Really proud of you.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Now, we did a lot of snake digging around today because we read about this story on our
How many
radio
people do you
show.
reckon die? So 63,000 people die in the world a year from snake bites.
63,000.
51,000 of those in India. How many do you reckon die in Australia for a snake bite? And we have the most venomous snakes in the world.
Before you answer this, think about every time you go to the bush, you go camping, everyone's banging on about the snakes. Watch out for snakes. The snakes are going to kill you. How many people do you think die annually in Australia?
Okay, I was going to say 100, but the way you put that question to me, it makes me think that it's going to be lower, like a number that is ridiculously low. So I'm going to say a dozen.
Lower.
What?
Mate, lower. Two.
Two people a year die of a snake.
Who gives a shit about
So
snakes?
the amount of shit we hear here in Australia about snake bites, two people.
Jeez, when I go camping, the only thing you need to worry about is the trouser snake.
Okay,
Oh,
and
excellent.
that's a really sad note to end things on.
It is
If the
sad,
four
mate.
of us are in the bush, before we go, if the four of us are in the
Brody
bush,
doesn't
right?
have to
We're
always
sitting
go,
there,
he's taken.
we're camping. Say, Campbell, you get bitten on the leg by a snake. It's a brown one.
Yeah,
So
I would
that's
expect
bad.
you to suck it out.
I know, but who are you trusting? Ready? And we're all going to pitch our cases to you. Who are you going to let suck it out of you? Is it me? Ready? Think about the responsible one, the diligent one, the fastidious one, the one with very powerful lips. Are you letting me do it?
Powerful lips.
Brother, I've got a history of using an apparatus that requires you to breathe real strong. There we go. And
Glass?
You know how to suck them back. I'm one of the great tongue pashes of all time. So, I could suck it in. I could suck that through a straw, mate.
Hey, by the way, when someone sucks the poison out, are they then just going to die?
I think they meant to spit it out, but I don't know when.
You've got
all
to
right.
spit it out. Yeah,
Oh,
do you know
great.
what?
Yeah, easy.
If you cut a Coke can and put it over the snake bite, I'm going with Dino.
Yes! Hey, see you later.